Today in crypto, the trends in the market, they can change so quickly. This video is going to discuss what I believe are some of the key trends that you need to keep in mind as an investor for the rest of 2020. My name is Lark, and this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the wild land of crypto. Also, if you are new to cryptocurrency and you still need help with all of the basics, like understanding what Bitcoin is, what Ethereum is, how to buy them, how to store them, even how to send them, how to build a portfolio, all of that stuff, then you need to check out my course, Cryptocurrency Explained. It is going to walk you through all of these topics and many more with very simple, practical tutorials. There's a link down below where you can learn more. Also, before I begin this conversation, a quick disclaimer, of course, as always, I will be mentioning the names of different cryptocurrencies during this video. That is neither a recommendation nor a solicitation for you to run out and to throw your life savings into that cryptocurrency. In fact, if you buy some of the cryptocurrencies that I mentioned here today, you will lose all of your money. So keep that in mind. Significant risk remains in the crypto markets, and any investment into cryptocurrency should be made with that consideration in mind. You are, of course, as always, responsible for your investing decisions and should always practice proper risk management strategies and, of course, to do your own due diligence. So, with all of that being said, the first big trend I want to talk about is DeFi. And I know what you're thinking. No shirt, Sherlock. Have you been living under a tree, man? Of course, DeFi is a big trend right now. Just hear me out for a second. You see, DeFi as a trend, I believe it is only just starting to heat up. The rewards and the incentives are very lucrative and they're going to continue to drive a lot of interest. There are lots of DeFi related cryptocurrencies that haven't even started to pump yet as well. Keep an eye out for some of those. And even some of the ones which have pumped, they still have a long way to go before they reach their tops. There are literally dozens of cryptocurrencies right now which you can buy to take advantage of this trend. But there are two areas which I believe will see a lot of growth within the DeFi niche, and that is DeFi on other chains and new project launches. Now, in the first trend, we've already seen prominent players like Kava launch, which will bring, of course, DeFi to Bitcoin and XRP and Binance and Cosmos. We're also going to continue to see that DeFi on other chains trend spreading like wildfire. Now, at this stage, very few people are taking notice of what is happening. They're really only focusing on Ethereum. But DeFi on other chains, it's already starting, and the savvy investors are already picking up some of those cryptos. And the other trend which is taking over DeFi right now is the launch of new projects and new tokens. Now, Compound Finance had been around for a while, but their Comp token launch really kicked this whole thing into high gear, gaining 2,000% in like a week or something. It was crazy. Now we have lots of new tokens that are starting to be launched. New players like DeFi Money Market, or the DMG token, which is backed by Tim Draper, that is already soaring. It's already causing a lot of FOMO. It's causing a lot of hype right now. Investors are piling in, hoping, of course, to repeat that success story of other recent launches like Compound Finance. This trend of new launches, it is going to continue. Massive pumps are going to happen. Massive gains for early investors will continue. That is going to keep happening throughout 2020. But please keep your ear to the ground for the good stuff. And of course, remain vigilant of scams, because there will 100% be loads of DeFi scams. So stay frosty. The next big trend to watch out for is decentralized exchange. Now, volume has been absolutely exploding for decentralized exchanges in 2020. The monthly volumes for DEXs has soared past $1.5 billion to hit its all-time high in June. And I would expect that the trend for people using decentralized exchanges and the rise of volume on decentralized exchanges is going to continue. Now, there are many reasons why this is actually happening, but the key takeaway here for us as investors is that DEX tokens can be incredibly lucrative. So if this trend continues, there is a lot of money to be made because many DEX tokens, they're offering incredibly attractive rewards to token holders. Nash's Next token is offering up to 75% of trading fees. Kyber is offering 65% to token holders. IDEX, it's upgrading its exchange and its token model and will now start offering, or soon, I should say, start offering 50% of fees to token holders. And actually, by the way, IDEX, wildly undervalued compared to its competitors, but that's a different story for a different day. Anyway, look, if the volume trend continues to rise for decentralized exchanges, then expect that the token valuations for the underlying tokens related to these decentralized exchanges will also continue to rise. Investors are chasing those potentially big dividend payouts that are to come if this volume trend keeps rising. Because long term, these exchange tokens that are paying out rewards in like Ethereum, like Kyber's paying out in Ethereum, for example, or other major crypto, they are going to be big money makers for the early investors. The next trend to keep an eye on is security tokens. And I know, security tokens have almost become like a meme at this point. We have been talking about them for such a long time. But the tokenization of different securities, it is going to be a big deal. We're talking about real estate, we're talking about stocks, we're talking about bonds, we're talking about trusts, and just a whole host of other different things. Basically, the security token represents a legal contract giving claim to the underlying real-world asset. Tokenizing these assets will open up huge amounts of liquidity and massively reduce friction for being able to move these assets from one place to another in terms of the ownership of them. Many of the key security token related cryptos at this time remain relatively unnoticed by the wider market, considering everyone's attention right now is on DeFi. LCX, for example, is sitting at a $5 million market cap, and in addition to their crypto terminal and their exchange, they're also offering turnkey solutions for digital securities via their STO launchpad, which could be a very powerful thing considering that they are basically fully regulated and ready for business in Liechtenstein. Polymath is another one. It has got a little more notice than LCX. It's currently sitting at a $25 million market cap with around 200 security tokens already deployed to its network. So it's happening slowly but surely. A big catalyst which could push the security token trend forward would of course be plugging security tokens into DeFi. For example, you could have a stablecoin backed by real estate tokens, and some projects are already working to make that a reality. The next trend, which will continue to define the rest of 2020, is the continued domination of Ethereum over the smart contract ecosystem. The lion's share of innovation, it is happening on Ethereum right now. The DeFi craze, it is almost exclusively on Ethereum right now. The majority of developers building on Ethereum. The majority of applications built on Ethereum. Enterprise blockchain adoption is being pushed hard by the guys behind Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, and a lot of the major projects built on Ethereum. Again, the epicenter happening on Ethereum. Half a dozen layer 2 scaling solutions. They're helping scale Ethereum here and now, making applications much more useful. The anticipation for ETH 2.0 and staking is going to drive massive interest as well for Ethereum. EIP 1559, the proposal to burn certain fees, could dramatically change the long-term outlook economically for Ethereum. So a lot to be excited about for, especially in 2020 for Ethereum. That being said, other chains, they are hungry for that market share. Cardano and Tron and VeChain and Zilliqa and a dozen other competitors. They want it. And if they are successful in building their communities and actually delivering useful technology that people want to use, they will start gaining big time in terms of market cap and in terms of market share. And the final trend to keep an eye on is the massive accumulation of Bitcoin by institutional investors and retail investors alike. Look, just because there's lots of new flashy toys on offer in the market does not mean that the old boy is not going to continue to get a lot of attention and continue to shine. Quite the opposite, in fact. Bitcoin is likely to be the tide that lifts all boats in the crypto market. Bitcoin, of course, it has the most institutional adoption. It has the most fiat on-ramps. I mean, Grayscale has been a massive player for a long time. Wilshire Phoenix, they're launching. They're going to be a Grayscale competitor, so another player taking big amounts of Bitcoin off the market. Paul Tudor Jones, he is playing with Bitcoin futures and essentially signaling to everyone else, like, hey guys, it's cool. Come play with Bitcoin. I'm Paul Tudor Jones, and I'm doing it. You can too. So hedge funds will be coming in. Backs physically settled Bitcoin futures. They have been gaining in popularity this year. Fidelity is offering Bitcoin to its clients. They have been for over a year now. Bitcoin is now being sold at 20,000 pharmacies and gas stations in the United States, along with 5,000 plus Bitcoin ATMs just in the United States. PayPal might soon start offering Bitcoin. There's never been an easier way to buy Bitcoin than there is today. And of course, Bitcoin is finally starting to make a big splash in the DeFi world, thanks to Ethereum, of course. And when Bitcoin finally cracks back over $20,000, which could actually happen in 2020, then a lot of eyes are going to be on Bitcoin. And a lot of investors who might have been sitting out on the markets are going to come back in. Obviously, there's no guarantee that Bitcoin grinds back up to $20,000 this year, even though I see that as a complete inevitability at some point for Bitcoin. But don't forget who the king of the crypto market is. It has always been, and probably always will be, Bitcoin. Now, in terms of short-term gains, yeah, Bitcoin's not going to give you as big of an ROI. The ROI is going to be bigger elsewhere, but the long-term potential for Bitcoin remains very, very good. And now is that heavy accumulation time for Bitcoin before the next cycle really takes off. Anyway, those are just my 2 satoshis. As always, I'm super keen to hear your opinion. What do you think of the trends that I outlined here today? Will they be the keys moving us into the next cycle? Are these going to be the big things for the rest of 2020? Or is there something else that you have got your eyes on in terms of a key trend that investors should be aware of for the rest of 2020? Let me know about it down below in the comment section. Thank you so much, as always, for taking time out of your day to come over here and listen to this dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.